Hello and welcome to another daily dose of Satoshi's News. Today's date is Wednesday the 5th of February 2025, the year BSV comes alive. Experience the best of both worlds today at betbitcoinsv.com, the best casino and sports betting on chain. Have a little flutter in private using the original protocol and genuine Bitcoin rights. So just going to touch on this Chronicles update because obviously, the cabal's getting in there, spreading all FUD and all this, going, oh, is Chronicles update going to fork the chain? I think Crypto Rick's been weighing in there, talking some crap on it as well. So we'll just clear that up, hear what Conor Murray's got to say about it. I'll just explain it, the difference between the Chronicles upgrade or the release and the Bitcoin protocol. Then we got some 365 days of Bitcoin history, and then we just go through the figures as per usual because I like that kind of stuff. Right, let's get into it.
Greg says he's Satoshi, like a cowboy in the West, riding on the blockchain that they call the very best. From the Genesis block, where the story began, he's acclaiming his legacy, a digital man. 1 million strong, and transactions flying free. Just wait for the Terra node, you'll surely see.
All right then, here we go. So BSV Blockchain has posted here saying, watch Conor Murray, Stewardship Director, BSV Blockchain, as he discusses the Chronicles release. So we'll just have a quick listen here. Here we go.
So with the upcoming Chronicle updates, we will restore the remaining opcodes that need restoration, and then also remove the last limitations on the types of data you can put into a transaction, enabling a few new use cases.
There we go. That's pretty much it. So the difference between the Chronicles upgrade and the protocol is this. As I'd put here, the Bitcoin protocol and BSV is still intact, but not BTC or BCH. It's the functions and scalability on BSV that were corrupted and are now being restored through the Chronicles upgrade. So this is why the forks had to happen when you change the actual protocol. Now, the protocol are the elements of the network that actually commoditize data. And if you corrupt those elements that commoditize data, you securitize the network and you remove all economic value forever. Can't go back, can't do anything about it, literally forever. So BTC lost its value forever. It is a security offering, because the protocol has to be intact from the moment the network started and never change. If anybody changes it at all, they have complete control of it and it is no longer a commodity. The software, the open source software that was released to the miners, that the miners all download and use to mine Bitcoin, have to have these elements in it, and it's these elements that never change right from day one. As in, like when you're mining gold from the ground, if you dilute the gold with something else, it's not gold. Yeah, if you change it in some way, if you do something to it, it's not gold. If you're adding to it, if you're selling gold with added copper or whatever, you're not selling gold. You're selling copper and gold that you're trying to mix together and rip people off. So these are the elements of the protocol which must always be intact. And this is why when the chain splits, as it were, the only reason or the only need for a chain to split is when they change the protocol. Because, so for example, when Roger Ver and his crony mates were on BCH and they had the hash war and all that, one of the reasons the chain had to split is because they were about to securitize the network by doing away with the chain of digital signatures. They were about to implement Schnorr signatures, and they also added canonical transaction ordering. Canonical transaction ordering changes the order in which the transactions are uploaded. And if you have a third-party interloper changing the chronological order into canonical transaction ordering, then you have a third party tampering with when the how the uploads and when they were made, when they were created, because it is a timestamp server. The uploads have to be recorded and uploaded in the order that they were made in. Otherwise, you have somebody tampering with the network, somebody controlling it. And so this is literally the elements. We'll just go through this again because I can't express how important this is enough. There has to be right from the beginning, multiple operations sustaining the network, and they have to be economically competitive to one another, so that if one of them goes offline, it doesn't make a difference to the network. And without competition, you simply get collusion and centralization. And also, without competition, there is no way to distribute the coins fairly. There's no way to compete for them. If you cannot compete to extract the coins from the system, you are waiting for them to be gifted to you. In the same way that XRP did, they were just like, all right, well, what we'll do is we'll create all these tokens and you can just grab them. Well, if you created them, why didn't you just grab them all for yourself? Oh, that's right, yeah. So we grabbed the vast majority of them, as David Schwartz said, but they needed the rest to sort of like go into the market to give it a price to literally pump their bags. Yeah, it's absolutely outrageous. So yeah, XRP, literally all these other shit coins, completely economically worthless security offerings. There needs to be a chain of digital signatures to move accountability and responsibility away from those who are sustaining the network onto the users of the network. So that if criminal activity is taking place, then the miners are not responsible for activity. It's up to the users. And the users can be traced via a chain of digital signatures. So it's up to the private association of users to get rid of any criminal behavior. There must be unbounded scale so that limitations and restrictions can't be manufactured and the network not be manipulated and therefore not centrally controlled. And there has to be a fixed asset supply so there are no shenanigans of either inflating or deflating the supply or like enriching themselves. That's literally, and these 4 elements here have to be locked. And that is how you commoditize data. This is the Bitcoin protocol. And Craig, when all these shitcoiners or when these nefarious entities were trying to corrupt Bitcoin, they can change lots of things. They can sort of like reduce the scalability. They can put a block cap on it, but so long as it's not a hard cap, a soft cap still doesn't change the protocol because it's a soft cap. It can be changed at any time. So long as the hard cap is not programmed in, they can reduce the functionality. Take away the opcodes and all this kind of stuff. However, they can do all that stuff so long as they don't tamper with the protocol, then it's fine. The moment they get anywhere near the protocol, that's when the chain has to split. And this is why the chain was split in 2018 when Roger Ver and his mates were literally about to corrupt it. If they had corrupted that chain of signatures, Bitcoin would have been gone forever. So luckily the chain was split. It just carried on, and the exchanges listed. Well, it was Roger Ver that colluded with the exchanges in the same way that Blockstream colluded with the exchanges to list their alternative protocol as BTC. Roger Ver colluded with the exchanges to list their new protocol as BCH. And the original chain of signatures just simply carried on as BSV. But it's just Bitcoin. It's just Bitcoin. And the Chronicles update, as Conor Murray just said, there just restores the functionality and scalability and allows different use cases and all that. If it's useful, it's valuable. If it's useless, it's worthless. So the more utility the network has, the more valuable it's going to become because more people are going to use it, and that's what increases the value of the token. In order to make the network more useful, you simply reduce the cost of a transaction. Because the more you reduce the cost, the more users you have, and the more users you have, the more valuable it becomes. That's where the real value should come from, not from just pumping it with Tether and all that crap. It should come from real, genuine utility. But this is where Tether's got a problem, because Tether can only pump the price to a certain amount before you get traders continually cashing out because they know it's just being pumped by Tether. And then what's Tether going to do? Just swallow up the total supply? Who cares? No one's using it. No one's using it for naff all. The block reward gets cut in half every 210,000 blocks, and when that pretty much goes to zero, the miners are unable to sustain themselves. You need massive amounts of utility on the network in order to replace the block reward with the block fee. And then you have an economically self-sustaining system, and one that is not reliant on the pumping of Tether or like the Lightning Network or Proof of Stake, where it's just simply controlled and manipulated by a central control group. That's pretty much it, really. Right, let's have a look at some 365 days of Bitcoin history. We are now the 5th of February. So check this out. On the 5th of February 1637, Tulip Mania came to an abrupt end. Look at that. Boom. Dropped off a cliff. But this orange line here represents BTC. And this was back 2020. We're now 2025, and this was when it was under, what's this? Price relative to Bitcoin. So it was 2020. I'm trying to think what the price was then. Maybe $40,000. It was now $100,000. So double this size of the bubble is what we're looking at. Whoa, it is crazy. But again, this is the battle for the fate of the world, really. We either cruise into a totalitarian dictatorship that literally wants to destroy the world forever and make a world of their own, which means literally getting rid of all cultures, all heritage, all history in the history books, literally destroying everything, which is satanic, as we know. That's what we're dealing with. Or we have a future where everything is preserved and people live in peace and work for the value of one another rather than trying to destroy one another. Because we have a true value exchange where people are working for the benefit of one another rather than just simply asset stripping, which is what the fiat currency does. Saying that, actually, talking about asset stripping, Richard Gage actually just posted something on. Let's comment on this because this is really quite interesting. Here we go. Check this out. So Richard Gage here has been talking about how the US government want to go into Gaza. So he said here, why does Israel care so much about taking control of Gaza? Is it because of Hamas attacks? No. A hatred of Arabs? No. A desire for more oceanfront property? No. It's because Gaza can make them filthy rich due to all the resources that they've got. However, as I've pointed out here, I said it's got nothing to do with getting filthy rich because they print currency from nothing and therefore have unlimited riches. This is a classic example of how they use their fiat currency, the securities fraud, as a tool for asset stripping resources. That's what it's for. It's a tool for asset stripping resources, not for getting rich. Because what's the point in saying I've got rich, but if you haven't got any resources? It's a tool for asset stripping, and that's what they're using it for. February 5th, 2015, there was a bit license 2.0. New York moves closer to comprehensive virtual currency regulation. 5th of February 2022, J-Mac wrote, "Do not under any circumstances take the vaccine." He died the following year in the same way that many of Hillary Clinton's friends have, by suicide, on the 23rd of June 2021 in a prison near Barcelona. Prior to his death, he posted, "If I suicide myself, I didn't. I was whacked." Look at that. Check it out. Do not under any circumstances take the vaccine. I wonder how many people did. Oof. 5th of February 2020, BitMEX launches XRP USD perpetual swaps. Oh yeah, who cares? And the 5th of February 2024, the COPA Satoshi trial, or Satoshi identity trial, started in London's High Court. So today is the anniversary of day one. Day one of the COPA case. It was a year ago already. Look at that. Craig Wright claims he invented Bitcoin. A brazen lie caught told by the COPA members. Good grief. And there we go, up to date on Bitcoin history. Can't believe that was a year ago now. A year ago already. And I think it was February when Terranode was first being tested. And they did over 1 million transactions per second. Might have been towards the end of this month. Yeah, amazing. Amazing. Right, let's have a quick look at the figures then. Your Gradecoin down at $97,000. B Crash, what a joke. Fisher Price Cash, who cares? And we got Bitcoin $41. $41. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Actually, talking about $41. This guy here calls himself the Bitcoin historian, Pete Rizzo, posted this saying, "I don't even care about profit in Bitcoin. I just want to see the government and the banks piss themselves." That was May 29th, 2001 by Tippin Ian. 2011, sorry. And I said, we know at $41. We know at $41. Look at that. Crazy. Let's have a look at the difficulty adjustment on BTC. So still pretty much an all-time high. Just because of the amount of hash rate going on the network. Chasing the fiat pumped price of it. Dear oh dear. Let's have a look at the hash rates then. So yeah, BCH hash rate dropped off there. It's kind of interesting. But genuine Bitcoin still plodding along nicely there. Let's have a look at the transactions here. So just down to 9.43 on the Bitcoin forks. Let's look at, so that's 42,000. Cross-reference that with what's on chain. Yeah, 41,800. Yeah. So let's have a look. Oh, the block sizes have also dropped off a cliff. Oh dear, it did, down to 42%. Let's just have a look, see what's coming through. Oh, still 11 megabyte block. Yeah, tiny compared to what we're used to, considering we're used to gigabyte blocks. 57,000 times cheaper to transact on Bitcoin than Gregcoin. Mining Gregcoin at a 78% comparable loss. Whoa. Whoa. Yeah, those shitcoiners certainly won't be mining Bitcoin at a 78.5% comparable loss. That's massive. That's massive. Let's have a look at the politics then, because the politics are all in the pie charts. So Gradecoin other miners 1.39 on there. BCH other miners 50% on there. Fisher Price Cash, who cares? And we've got Bitcoin. We'll just cross-reference this with what's on chain. Still got the 6 miners on there. Tal in the lead 34.6. Q 28.6. QD Link 25.3. SA100 5.3. Gorilla Pool down to 4.6. And Mining Dutch Wither looking at 1.33. Let's have a look at Crypto Quant, the exchanges. The exchanges reserves, look at that. Still cashing out. Don't want to be holding that shit when the music stops. Let's look at the Tether Weather. Oh, I think this was yesterday's. Yeah, so they pumped $1 billion in. 139.4. 140 point, yeah, 100, well, $1.2 billion in. Jeepers. Jeepers. Got to keep the scam going. Got to keep the scam going. Good grief. Let's have a look at the short ratio. Down to 0.4% short ratio. Longs going up. Very misguided there. Let's have a look at the trade. 24-hour trade volume on these exchanges. OKX 2.1 million. Gate.io 1.49 million. Binance Futures 5.5 million. Upbit to 2 million. Ascendex, that's a small one. Coin 1. Oh, 1. Oh no, that's not very much. Oh, 1,800. IndoX down to 76 million. It's still massive though. Poloniex 8 million. HTX 4 million. Buybox 3 million. BitGet 1.4 million. Kofinex 1.4 million. XT.com 1.1 million. Alright. Let's have a look at Bitcoin versus Gradecoin then. Oh. Winning just a little bit over the last few hours. About 24 hours. Well, just less than that. Let's have a look at Bitcoin versus USD. Oh, we're just plodding along sideways there. Let's have a check up with Orange Gateway. Yeah, plodding along sideways in compared to Gradecoin. Yeah. Same as, right, so we've got a market cap of $3.2 trillion, down from 3.6 or 3.7, which was not so long ago. Gradecoin, $98,000 per coin. Good grief, what a joke that is. Let's have a look at the rest of the market here. Is that ETH taking a bit of a nose? Down to 2,700. Yeah, down in 7 days. So it's not too bad over 3 months still. Yeah, even over 12 months really, you just had ups and downs. Let's have a look at see what this XRP's doing. Oh, it's gone up and gone down again, funnily enough. Yeah, because it does absolutely naff all. Just literally one of the biggest psyops. One of the biggest psyops. It's literally completely centralized, his XRP. Good grief. Oh, somebody was saying Sol dropped off a cliff the other day. We'll just have a look at this. Yeah, ups and downs really over the last month. Again, just they had a market pump for a few weeks. Nothing really to write home about. Let's have a look at Bitcoin. Oh, number $86.41.50. Yep, just plodding along there. Volume here. So these volumes are not what we just looked at, the 24-hour trade volumes. They're saying, and it's a shame because Live Coin Watcher, they've actually usually got quite good data. But Zedixian, they're saying, has got, it looks like a 25% of the market volume, whereas that's not what we just saw. Indox with 75 million. I mean, good grief. Liquidity, yeah, pretty much the same as we saw before. Indox exchange, not listed on there for some reason. Never mind. Right, there we go. That is a quick 20-minute show. We'll leave it there. Hope you enjoyed it. So, as ever, if you enjoy these updates, please ding your donation for your appreciation to either Satoshi at Simply.com, Handcash.io, Simply.cash, Relasia.com, Rockwallet.me, or Senti.ch. We'll leave it there. Hope you enjoyed it. As ever, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.